April 4th, 2028, 8:59 a.m. Grayson and Locke, Wall Street. A face appears on the internal video feed. It looks like Martin Keane. It sounds like Martin Keane. It moves like Martin Keane. Liquidate crypto. Dump Asia. Do it now. And so they do. Billions in trades. Executed in seconds. Markets shift. Panic spreads. But there's a problem. Martin Keane walks into the building at 9:01 a.m. The real Martin Keane. The systems check out. The voice print, clean. The facial scan, verified. The clearance codes, all authentic. Except none of it was real. Someone deepfaked a CFO in real time on a closed network inside one of the most secure financial institutions on Earth. Not for ransom, not for politics, just to prove they could. Grayson and Locke lost $700 million. But Wall Street, it lost something bigger. Certainty. Because when belief is the market, and you can't trust the faces on the screen, the next crash won't be financial. It'll be existential. In a hyper-connected world, money never sleeps. Trillions of dollars, pounds, yen, and euros crisscross the globe every second. But what if the very arteries of this global economy, the networks that move every single transaction, were to be deliberately sabotaged? Tonight, we plunge into the chilling scenario of financial meltdown, the weaponization of global payments. We've built an intricate web of digital trust where national economies rely on seamless instant transactions. From your daily coffee to multi-billion-dollar international trade deals, it all flows through complex digital rails. But what if that trust was shattered? What if a sophisticated adversary could orchestrate not just theft, but systematic disruption, causing funds to vanish, transactions to fail, and the very act of global commerce to seize up? This isn't just about financial loss, it's about weaponizing the system itself, sparking an economic earthquake that could plunge the world into chaos. So, how does your money travel across borders in an instant? It's far more complex than a simple transfer. At the heart of international finance lies the SWIFT network, the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. This isn't a bank, it's a secure messaging system, like a global post office for financial instructions, connecting over 11,000 financial institutions in over 200 countries. Every time you send money abroad, or a multinational corporation pays its suppliers, a SWIFT message is likely involved. Beyond SWIFT, there are clearinghouses, crucial financial market infrastructures that facilitate the exchange of payments, ensuring that funds are correctly transferred between banks. And increasingly, we're talking about the underlying infrastructure of central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, which promise faster, more direct payment rails, but also introduce new points of vulnerability. This entire ecosystem, a marvel of interconnected technology, forms the invisible backbone of our prosperity. Here's your first fact. Despite their critical importance, many parts of our global financial infrastructure, especially at the edges, rely on outdated legacy systems that are shockingly vulnerable. While major players like SWIFT and central banks have robust security, the interconnectedness means a weakness anywhere can be exploited. Many smaller banks or financial institutions connected to these global networks might have less sophisticated cybersecurity defenses, unpatched software, or even human vulnerabilities like weak passwords and susceptibility to phishing. A sophisticated adversary doesn't need to break into the main vault. They just need to find a forgotten backdoor, a single weak link in the chain to begin their infiltration. The entire system is only as strong as its weakest, oldest component. So, how does a sophisticated nation-state orchestrate such an attack? It's not a smash and grab. This is a multi-pronged, long-term operation. It begins with meticulous reconnaissance, identifying weak points. They might use advanced phishing campaigns targeting employees of key financial institutions or technology providers. Or they might exploit supply chain vulnerabilities, infiltrating a vendor that provides software or hardware to a clearinghouse or a central bank. Once inside, they establish a stealthy command and control infrastructure, hiding deep within the network. Their goal isn't immediate theft, which would trigger alarms. It's to gain persistent, undetected access to the core components of the transaction systems, mapping out connections, understanding protocols, and preparing for the coordinated strike. They want to be able to pull multiple levers at once across different parts of the globe. The attack itself would be a carefully orchestrated symphony of chaos. Instead of just stealing money, the primary goal is systematic disruption. Imagine transactions being deliberately delayed, not just by minutes, but by hours or even days. Payments for critical supplies might fail to arrive or arrive late, causing factories to halt production. Even more insidious, misattribution of funds. Millions of dollars suddenly appearing in the wrong accounts, then disappearing or seemingly vanishing into thin air. Not stolen outright, but simply rendered untraceable or inaccessible. This creates immediate confusion, panic, and paralysis. Financial institutions wouldn't know which transactions are legitimate, which are compromised, and where the money truly belongs. Trust, the lifeblood of finance, would instantly begin to bleed out. As countries increasingly explore and develop central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, a new and potentially massive vector for attack emerges. While CBDCs offer promises of efficiency and financial inclusion, their underlying infrastructure represents a highly centralized, high-value target. A successful attack on a major CBDC infrastructure could directly impact national monetary policy, the stability of a currency, and the ability of an entire population to conduct daily transactions. Imagine your digital wallet suddenly showing a zero balance, or all transactions being frozen with no clear explanation. The potential for immediate, widespread economic paralysis, orchestrated by a nation-state adversary, is a terrifying prospect that CBDC development must explicitly address with unprecedented levels of cybersecurity. Here's another fact. We've already seen a preview of this kind of attack, and it was devastating. The 2016 Bangladesh bank heist, where North Korean hackers stole $81 million from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York via fraudulent SWIFT messages, was originally intended to be a billion-dollar theft. It was only a typo in the fraudulent SWIFT message that prevented the full amount from being transferred. Think about that. A single, critical failure, averted by a human error. This wasn't just bank robbery. It was state-sponsored cyber warfare designed to destabilize, to fund illicit activities, and to test the very limits of the global financial system. The Bangladesh bank heist wasn't an isolated incident. It was a wake-up call, a clear signal that the financial battlefield is already active. The immediate and most profound impact of a weaponized global payment system would be the freezing of international trade. Without trust in transactions, without certainty that payments will be processed, businesses would simply stop. Importers couldn't pay exporters. Suppliers wouldn't send goods without upfront payment they couldn't verify. This would quickly lead to massive supply chain disruptions. Essential goods, food, medicine, critical components for manufacturing would halt. Shelves would empty. Production lines would seize up. The ripple effect would be instantaneous and severe, impacting every sector of every economy worldwide. It's an economic heart attack, felt by everyone. The ultimate goal of such an attack isn't just to stop money flow, but to trigger a profound crisis of confidence. When people can't access their money, when businesses can't transact, and when trust in the underlying system collapses, the result is widespread economic panic. Imagine bank runs as people desperately try to withdraw physical cash. Stock markets crashing as investors pull out. fearing the entire system is compromised. Currencies would fluctuate wildly, making stable international commerce impossible. This isn't just a recession, it's a global meltdown, a full-blown financial earthquake that would make 2008 look like a tremor. In the wake of such an attack, the world would react with immediate, frantic urgency. Emergency summits would convene, desperately trying to coordinate a global response. Central banks, governments, and financial institutions would work around the clock to restore functionality. But the sheer scale of the disruption and the pervasive loss of trust would make it an uphill battle. Desperate measures would be implemented, perhaps temporary capital controls, or even a return to more localized, less interconnected payment systems. The focus would shift from efficiency to sheer survival, to finding ways to re-establish basic economic functions and rebuild public confidence, piece by agonizing piece. Here's your third fact. In most modern financial systems, once a transaction is cleared and settled, especially at the interbank level, it's designed to be irreversible. There's no undo button for a multi-million-dollar transfer that was maliciously misattributed. This immutability, while crucial for trust in normal operations, becomes a catastrophic vulnerability in a cyber attack scenario. The sheer volume of transactions and their rapid finality mean that undoing the damage, trying to trace and reverse billions of misdirected funds, would be a near impossible task. This inherent systemic risk means a targeted cyber attack on a core financial component can cascade uncontrollably, crippling the entire global financial system. So, what can be done to fortify our global financial system against such a devastating attack? The answer lies in a multi-layered, collaborative approach. Enhanced intelligence sharing among financial institutions and governments is crucial, enabling faster detection and response to evolving threats. Implementing zero-trust architectures, where no user or device is trusted by default, regardless of whether they are inside or outside the network, is paramount. This means rigorous authentication, continuous monitoring, and granular access controls for every single interaction. Regular, large-scale cyber resilience exercises, simulating realistic attacks, are also essential to test defenses and identify weaknesses before they are exploited by adversaries. It's an ongoing arms race, requiring constant vigilance. Beyond technical measures, robust regulatory oversight and international cooperation are indispensable. Governments and central banks must develop and enforce stringent cybersecurity standards for all financial institutions, from the largest banks to the smallest fintech startups, ensuring a consistent baseline of protection across the entire ecosystem. International bodies like the G7, G20, and the Bank for International Settlements must continue to lead efforts in coordinating cross-border responses and establishing clear protocols for how nations will react and recover from a global financial cyber attack. The threat is global, and so must be the defense. A collective, united front is our only hope against this invisible weapon. The weaponization of global payment systems isn't a distant threat. It's a present danger, fueled by increasingly sophisticated nation-state capabilities. The concept of a financial earthquake, caused not by economic collapse, but by direct digital assault, is a terrifying reality we must confront. Our global economy, built on seamless digital transactions, is both its greatest strength and its most profound vulnerability. We need to prioritize strengthening our financial cyber defenses with the same urgency we dedicate to traditional military threats. Because in the digital age, economic stability is national security. How prepared do you think the world truly is for a financial cyber meltdown? What steps do you believe are most critical to securing our global payments? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Want to know more about the broader impact of cybercrime? Click here to watch my video on AI systems that judge us.